Yeah, fuck cancer. That's what you gotta start telling yourself. You know, there's an invisible enemy. But first of all, how you doing this morning? Let me see some of this good, powerful, progressive energy before we get into it, right? But yo, every time I look around, there go a cancer post, a headline about, you know, somebody that's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, you know, dying of cancer. And by the time we hear about the death, they probably already had it and had been suffering in silence, trying to beat it with the very things that are going to, you know, help to defeat them, right? So I say 6 months, 6 months to 3 to 5 years, depending, right? People be suffering in silence, fam, with this cancer, right? So the invisible enemy is not just cancer itself. It's the choices. It's our decisions. Our decisions are either working for us or against us. Because cancer don't just come and attack you from the outside in. You know? Cancer, our bodies, our immune systems kill cancer cells every day, all day. But our decisions, the choices that we make, are either going to help our immune system and our body to do what it's supposed to naturally do and what it want to do, or we're going to become an enemy to ourselves by choosing to continue to put things inside of the body, our bodies, that are gonna help to create the conditions internally that's gonna allow cancer to be able to take root, grow, develop, colonize your body, and just take over and take you out the game earlier than, in a lot of cases, you want to be taken out the game. You know, the headlines, D'Angelo, you know, the brother that did the Black Panther, he died at 40, 41, 42, 43 years old. They said he had been suffering in silence while still doing movies, right, from colon cancer. And young adults that's younger than me, they saying that, you know, in your 20s and 30s, there's been a spike in colon cancer. But see, the problem is that in a lot of cases, we like to think that we're special. You know, we like to think that even though we see these bodies dropping, even though we see these reports, it's something inside of the mind where the mind is really lying to you, convincing you that, hey, you know what? That's not going to happen to me. You know, I can keep doing what I'm doing. That's not going to happen to me. That's the worst thing that you could convince yourself of is that you special. You so special to the point where you can't die of a heart attack. You can't get heart disease. That your A1C can't go up to double digits. All right, how you doing? Don't convince yourself of that. Don't convince yourself that you're so special that you can't get colon cancer. Because whenever your thought process, whenever our thought processes, family, begins to try to find excuses for us not doing what we know we're supposed to be doing in the right amounts, the only thing that that's going to do is open you up to getting the very things that you think are you too special to get. So, shout out to the brother. I know he had did a cut with Lauryn Hill, I believe. You know? But 51 years old, pancreatic cancer, that's crazy. I'll be 48 this month. Yeah, I'll be 48. Right? So that means that brother was, what, 3 years older than me? And then they be asking me, they call me a health fanatic. You know, yo, why I gotta be a health fanatic? Because I love myself. But hey, I accept that. You know? But we gotta do better, that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to lecture you, but colon cancer, pancreatic cancer at 51 years old, fam, we got to do better. You got a family, you leave it behind. But what stands out, this is what I want to put on your brain, right? These are multi-millionaires. A lot of y'all be like, yo, I can't afford the products, I can't afford to eat right. You know, it costs too much money to make better decisions. Okay, if that's the case, then how you doing? What is the excuse for those that have the money? But what I was meditating on while I was working out before I hit my run was I was thinking, I said, wow, okay, everybody chasing money, but when they get the money in itself doesn't give you wisdom. It gives you more access. It gives you more of an ability to be who you really want to be. So my conclusion, my opinion, my perspective, right, is that if you don't change your mindset and your way of life, it doesn't matter whether or not if you're rich or poor. You're going to still use your resources to kill yourself off quickly. And the more money you get, it appears that the worse decisions you make, because it's like, oh wow, you know, you got the resources, so you partying, you doping, you drugging, you traveling all around the world doing your thing, right? And you eating crazy, and you caught up in the whole hedonism of it all. So it's like the more money you got, the quicker you kill yourself off. Because a lot of these multi-millionaires that a lot of people look up to, rich and famous, they got more than you. It's too noisy down there. But what they call the have-nots still living longer. Not in all cases, but I'm just giving you an example of if you really want to do something, just like you can afford that pack of cigarettes, just like you can afford to trick off on whatever you trick off on, whatever you really want to do, you're going to make it your business to find a way to get what you want. I know that for a fact. Back in the day, yo, when we was peewees, little dudes, right? Yo, how much you got? Oh, I got $1.50. Okay, well, how much you got? I got $2. Oh, I could get $3. You're gonna get that sack up, right? $3 to $5 a day, fam. That's all it takes. I'm gonna continue to put out this message because I don't like the direction that I see society, people, the communities, nation, whatever you want to call it. I just don't like the direction that it's taking. So instead of me just complaining about it, I'm not gonna live in fear because I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But what about you? You know, they want to talk about COVID. Oh, it's a new strain. You know, they're gonna keep pushing this whole, you know, vaccinate you thing. Hey, I'm not gonna try to tell you what to do. Some of y'all are pro-vax, some of y'all are not. You know, I'm gonna try my best to stay away from your politics, because that just causes division. Do what you feel is best for you, because that's what I'm gonna do for me. But the only reason why COVID became this big bad boogeyman is because of the media attention, the marketing, the psych ops, the boo you into submission so that these companies could sell their drugs. That's just a fact. But if COVID is the big bad boogeyman, right, then tell me, what is cancer? Because cancer been eating people up, still eating people up, but it's not getting that much publicity. They're not locking the society down, telling you gotta work at home. They're not shutting down and stop selling you the stuff that's causing you the cancer. So cancer is too profitable for them to, you know, try to put it to an end. How you doing? You see what I'm saying? So that's why they're not using the mass media campaigns to make it as vivid of a problem in your brain and in your psyche like they did COVID. Because the same thing that they did to shock you into, oh, COVID, whoa, gotta look out, gotta wear a mask, I gotta go get these shots, I give you marijuana up in New York, I give you marijuana if you get the shot. You can't go to work if you get the shot. But guess what? COVID still ain't the #1 killer. You know what the #1 killer is? Heart disease. 600,000 to damn near 800,000 people every year die of heart disease. That's killing way more people than COVID. Why they not? What? You see what I'm saying? And just ask yourself a real question. 600,000 people a year to 800,000 people a year are dying of heart disease. Look up the Civil War. What they said, like anywhere between 600,000 and 900,000 people, you know, little under 1 million people died in the Civil War. That was documented. Right here in America. Right? But that was a singular event that lasted for what, a couple years or something? But every year, since the 70s, every single year. So you just take 600,000 and times it by what? 50 years, 55 years? Heart disease been killing people, 600,000, 900,000 people a year. You do the math. So, diabetes. Look it up for yourself. How many people get amputated? Look at Deion Sanders. He had to chop off several of his toes just to stay alive. Now, he back in the hospital, more surgery. What? Cancer. That's what I think, cancer. Diabetes, it's all connected. Visceral fat. Y'all walk around here with these big old bellies. You know, y'all worry about relationships, cool. But what about the relationship with yourself? You got all of these higher expectations of what you want the next person to be. But what are you bringing? They're like, oh, what you bringing to the table? Okay, y'all want to have the what you bringing to the table conversation? Okay, put money aside. What about your health? What about diabetes? Are you bringing diabetes to the table? Are you bringing heart disease to the table? Are you bringing lymphoma, IBS, constipation, fibromyalgia, right? Preventable diseases. But you'll tell the opposite sex, oh, you got to be making this, or you got to drive this, or you got to have this. So what that communicates is you're using external things that are outside of you to evaluate and to measure and to determine the value of another person, right? But when you get into the relationship, and see, this is the reason why a lot of y'all don't really want to get with nobody no more. You know, it's always some kind of, oh, I respect my peace. But are you really at peace with high blood pressure? Are you really at peace with obesity? Are you really at peace having to take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pharmaceuticals every day? See, this is what it is. You got so much things going on inside of your own personal lives to the point where you really don't want nobody to get close enough to you within inside of your most intimate spaces, right? What you call your peace, because he whipping that pipe. Okay, yo, as long as he don't hit me. But when you say, oh, I want to respect my peace, I'm not saying all, but in a lot of cases, that simply means that I don't want nobody finding out what I'm doing to myself. I don't want nobody to see how I really live. I don't want nobody to get close enough to me on a daily basis who's going to hold me accountable. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be measured. So you encapsulate yourself within inside of these self-validating excuses so that you could be at peace having a lack of discipline. So that you could be at peace not being held accountable. So that you could be at peace pretty much do what you want to do. Right? Cool. Because we grown, right? But don't try to sell it like, oh, I'm at peace. Oh, I'm healing. Well, if you healed, then why you don't want nobody, other people that are healed? Because you're not the only one going through the process. You're not the only one that's doing self-work. So I'm going to call bullshit. Because you're going to do all of this work on yourself, and then you're going to meet somebody, and then you're going to expect for that person to get all of your little details right, when in all actuality, you wasn't willing to share or to partake or to commune so that y'all could heal as a masculine and feminine energy together. So that way, y'all would know each other's past, present, and where y'all headed in the future. So I'm going to call bullshit. See what I'm saying? But it's your bullshit. So when you have a heart attack, or if you have a heart attack, or something happens to you, you go into a diabetic coma at nighttime, you don't got your baby next to you, be like, baby, you alright? You good? Or let me... You all by yourself on the front line. Because in your innermost spaces, what if that ambulance can't get to you in time? You know what I'm saying? What if those first responders can't get to you in time? So I'm saying, I know y'all gonna get tired of me, but guess what? You ain't the only one that's tired. I'm tired of seeing you not living past 50. I'm tired of seeing you busting your ass for 30, 40, 50 years and you die off before you even retire. You don't even make it to your 401k plan. You don't, a lot of y'all not even making it to Social Security. You see what I'm saying? So yo, just know that it's coming out of love. You know? Somebody gotta tell you. You mean to tell me that you can afford Starbucks every day? Or that cinnamon bun? Or Dunkin' Donuts? Or Chick-fil-A every day? But you can't afford to get you no minerals. You can't afford to get you no quality vitamins. $3 to $5 a day. And even if you don't do it the way that I'm talking about doing or the way that I do it, my thing is, just do it. If you got a way that works for you, do it. But y'all not doing what y'all supposed to do. You know, guys, don't wait until you get prostate cancer to start calling on the Lord. You see what I'm saying? Because as much as y'all love the ladies, when they get to cutting inside your prostate and snipping on your balls and all of that right there, bro, your sex life is over with. So, like, I just don't understand. Help me to understand how y'all define love. You know? See, I think that, just my opinion, I think that a lot of people got a real twisted definition of love. And the twisted definition of love is coming from what's twisted inside of you that got you not caring about your blood pressure. You care more about your credit score number than you care about your blood pressure, your LDL, your HDL, right? Your A1C, right? Your testosterone levels, guys. I get tired of seeing, you know, guys, bro, your chest is not supposed to look like a woman's chest. See what I'm saying? That's a sign when you start getting a big gut and your chest start getting flabby. That's a sure sign that your testosterone levels is getting lower and lower, guys. That means that your estrogen is too high. You developing breasts. You're not looking manly. You're starting to look different. But that's what y'all want, though. You can't hide that behind clothes. But y'all care more about y'all credit score than y'all care about y'all biological numbers. You see what I'm saying? Care about the wrong thing. So, hey, my message is for those that care. You don't care about yourself. You don't love yourself enough to take care of yourself. But you want somebody else to come into your life and love on you when you ain't even loving on your damn self. That's crazy work. That's not a good bargain. So you basically trying to rip people off. You trying to, men and women are telling each other, oh, I've got higher value. Oh, these are my standards. But you basing your value and your standards based off of how much money you make, what kind of car you drive. In a lot of cases, she ain't even paid for. What kind of house you live in, and what kind of clothes you got on, or your degrees, and all of that. And that's not to diminish the value of your materialistic possessions and your accomplishments, by no means. But you're putting more value on that shit than you put on your own life. That's backwards. You see what I'm saying? And you telling each other you're setting criterias on temporal things. And that's why when y'all get in each other's lives, and it's time to have the real meeting of the mind, and it's time to commune, and it's time to be transparent, and it's time to actually communicate on a higher level, when it's time for you to really get naked, I ain't talking about taking your clothes off. You can't do it. That's why, and then you carrying all of these scars and all this trauma from shit that happened to you way back when. So you're caught up in a loop like Groundhog's Day. You're allowing your fear and your anxiety and your frustration and your misery to keep you from living your own damn life. So whoever wounded you, whoever traumatized you, not only did they traumatize you in that very moment, you're through your own acceptance of it and the internalization of it, you are allowing yourself to continue to live it out every day and playing every day as if like it was yesterday. See what I'm saying? So you're going to continue to betray your opportunities to actually and truly heal and to move forward every time you continue to give power to those that violated you. See what I'm saying? They still violating your mind and your emotions to this very day. That's how much hold they got on your life. So you giving them the power to control your outcomes. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why you're in the same situation you're in now. See, I'm not with that bullshit. Although, I'm not no victim. But, there's a lot of people out here that have, been shitted on. Or whatever. Men and women. But, if you cut yourself right now, you only gonna suffer for that. Yeah, it'll leave a scar. But you ain't gonna bleed out. Because your natural community of self is gonna say, hey, wait a minute. We gotta tend to that. Send the troops. Send the platelets. Send the white blood cells. Send the plasma. Whatever you gotta send. The immune system is like, oh, wait a minute. We're gonna deal with this right now. And as time goes on, eventually, you'll forget all about that cut. But yeah, you remember it. Because you got the scar. Especially if it's deep enough. But y'all bleeding out 2 years, 3 years, emotionally bleeding out 5 years, 20 years. Oh, I'm gonna be by myself. I'm not gonna have nobody in my bed that don't wanna do what I want them to do. Okay, well, you ain't gotta get married. Y'all adult enough to say, hey, you know what? I got my life. You got your life. I'm attracted to you. And I want to fuck. And then the mutual agreement is you ain't got to give up the power of your life. But you got somebody to come through or that you go through too. And y'all share love. That was the beautiful thing about the 60s and the 70s. Way before all this other shit started. Men and women was so wrapped up and caught up from what I could see, because it was before my time. But I wish I was born back then. Y'all don't even jug no more. Y'all don't even the way how you party is chaotic. Men and women used to be spooning on the dance floor, almost like they was making love while the music was playing. The foreplay started at the party. Y'all forgot all about that. Now it's we got the battle of the sexes. Oh, she did this to me. So you gonna let that one woman alter your whole state of being to the point where you gonna be miserable for the rest of your life. That's crazy work. But back to health. Why am I going through this? I think that all of that leads to depression, anxiety, bipolarism, misery, And now you emotionally eating. You doing drugs. You drinking alcohol. You becoming an alcoholic. All right, how y'all doing? You becoming you using things that's no good for you to try to treat your pain. And then now, not only are you emotionally distraught, now your physical health is taking a hit. So now you on drugs and pharmaceutical. Now you having surgery. And if we was to tear back all the layers and to track and find out at what point did you stop loving yourself? Before I get back in traffic, at what point did you stop taking care of yourself? In a lot of cases, it was because of that bad marriage. It was because of that bad relationship that didn't end right. And because you lost a love from somebody else, you used that to soak in your wound. And then you began to use your choices and your decisions to start to tear yourself down from the inside out. And you began to create an internal environment that became conducive for heart disease, that became conducive for diabetes, that became conducive for cancer. Or in some cases, it led up to you losing your freedom. And in some cases, some people don't live to talk about it because it might just cost them their lives. It costs them their tomorrows. So look, I'm about to get up out of here. Learn from what you see happening to other people. Cancer is not, these illnesses are not mightier than you. The only thing you got to do is that you have to become more conscious of your choices every day and realizing that you have the power to make better decisions that can help you to control your outcomes. Are we going to leave here one day? Absolutely. But that's out of our hands. Stop using the end to justify the means that you are using to bring the end closer to you sooner than it really ought to have to come to you. Let's focus on right now. The quality of life while we're living is something that we have the power to control. It's your brother. Health and wellness is your first front line. Click that link if you're looking for some supplements, not just any supplements, quality and effective supplements. And if you got any thoughts, you know what I'm saying, that you want to share, drop them in the comments and share this video to somebody that you know is playing with their life. Peace, and I'm out.